It was a gray Tuesday afternoon in London. The studio lights were being reset, the familiar low hum of the audience settling in, the chaser's desk polished and ready. Bradley Walsh arrived in his usual familiar gait, one part host, one part entertainer, one part quizmaster. He glanced at his reflection in the mirrored wall of the green room and flexed his tie. Same tie, same smile, same energy. Yet behind his eyes there was a flicker of something else today, a hint of change. Across the corridor, in a small meeting room marked Producers Confidential, the executive producer, a woman named Clara, was pacing. She stopped, looked at the large whiteboard that had the words "Reboot, New Host" scribbled in red. Then she tapped a finger. Viewership dipped, feedback piling in. Change or risk stagnation. At that moment, the door opened, and in stepped the network's head of entertainment. He tapped his phone and then entered two words: Bradley's sealed. The word sealed didn't mean what Bradley thought immediately. He sat in his dressing room reading the memo. Your role is sealed until end of season. Discussions thereafter. The network was playing safe, locking in his contract, but the sealed deal sent rumors rippling through social media, forums, and fan groups. The loyal followers of the chase were not idle. They watched every episode with familiar delight, but lately they'd started shaking their heads. Brad keeps saying, "You're better than that," again and again. Entertainment Daily. The contestants are playing safe. The show's lost its edge. Hello. On X and Reddit threads, the same complaint echoed. The show needed fresh energy. One commenter wrote, "I used to watch every night. Now I'm just done." Reddit. So, as the sealed contract signed by Bradley sat in a folder on Clara's desk, a second scenario was in motion. The producers were quietly scouting possible next hosts. Names were whispered, a gentle survey of public reaction, but nothing official. The fans sensed it. The studio buzzed with speculation. And Bradley? He carried on as host, loyal to the format, but with an internal knot of unease. Could he feel the rumor wind? The next episode rolled in. Bradley greeted the contestants with his usual gregarious charm, introduced the chaser, and paused longer than usual at one moment. The camera cut to the audience. There were nervous smiles. During the game, one contestant opted for the low offer again, prompting a groan from the crowd. Fans tweeted, "Why do they always pick the low offer? It kills the excitement." Hello. Backstage, Bradley glanced at Clara in the wings. She gave him a nod. "You're doing great." But it didn't feel like enough. Later, alone in the dressing room, he took off his microphone and stared at himself in the mirror. Is this it? Am I just locked in, sealed in until the season ends? A week later, the network released a short statement. Season 23 host to remain Bradley Walsh, further discussions thereafter. The word replacement was never used, but by now the rumor mill was in full swing. Fans who had been complaining for months, the same joke again, lack of risk, too safe, sensed momentum. That evening, at a local pub in Manchester, a small group of quiz fanatics were gathered around a barrel table. Pint in hand, one said, "I think they'll roll in a new host next season. The references are quiet, but the move is clear." Another agreed, "The sealed deal's telltale. We're just watching the wind-up." Meanwhile, in the studio, Bradley was asked by a young contestant, "Do you ever feel like the show should change?" He paused. The lights warmed his face. He smiled. Change is the only constant, but the heart of the game, that stays. The contestant nodded. Bradley continued, "I've been here a long time. People ask, 'Are you off soon?' The answer is, I'm here until they don't need me." The episode ended. Cameras off, audience gone. Bradley walked off the set, through the empty corridor, past the chaser desk now silent. He stopped at the closed door of the meeting room. Through the frosted glass, he could just make out Clara and the head of entertainment talking. He turned away. Back home, he switched on his favorite quiz podcast. He listened quietly. A voice on the podcast said, "The show feels stuck in a loop. The same snark, the same catchphrases. Come on, let's shake things up." Bradley closed his eyes. He remembered why he took the job: to challenge, to entertain, to bring out the best in contestants. He resolved if the format was stale, he'd reinvigorate it. If he was to remain sealed, he'd make it count. Over the next few episodes, something changed. Contestants were encouraged more explicitly to take higher offers. The vibe shifted. Faster pace, more daring, less of the comfortable banter, and more of the quiz heat. The social media complaints lightened. A fan on Reddit wrote, "Hey, it's not the old gold show I loved, but it's alive again." And in the wings, the sealed contract continued to sit. The replacement rumors faded for now, but the fans' collective complaint had echoed loud enough. The show was flat. It had forced the producers and host into action. In the final scene of this story, Bradley walks into the studio one last time for the season finale. The set is brighter, the contestants sharper, the stakes higher. He greets the audience with the same smile, but one that carries a subtle edge. As the opening music plays, he leans forward. "Ready?" he asks the chaser. "Let's play." And somewhere in the back corridors of production, the sealed deals sat unopened for now. Because what mattered wasn't the host change, it was the viewers being heard. So, there you have it. A creative story of rumor, loyalty, change, and complaint. If you like, I can do a sequel, perhaps exploring the moment the replacement finally emerges. Would you like that?